Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. In every podcast in the show, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept for this podcast, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. The book is available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to me. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. If you like the show, please rate it and review it. To do that, go to my website, cluttercoach.net, and scroll down for the show notes. Each show notes post has a link to leave a review in iTunes. I would so appreciate that. Okay, on to the podcast. This is podcast 71, and my topic is starting. I talked about that a few podcasts back when I gave some ideas on how to get into action when you find yourself continuing not to. This time I'll talk less about technique and more about mindset, or the emotional background to starting, or not starting. Sometimes not starting means you're procrastinating. But whenever you bring up that word, you start talking about what you're procrastinating about and why you're procrastinating, and then go looking for one of those lists of ways to quit procrastinating. More technique, in other words. Other times, not starting feels like a deeper issue. It's not just slacking off or doing something you'd rather do. It's about who you are as a person, or it feels that way. I'm having problems with not starting on my artwork, so this is on my mind right now. When I notice I'm not starting to work on art, I am not inclined to look around for ideas on getting myself to start. Nope, I'm reflecting inward and observing the void of me not working and making negative judgments about it. I'm grimly remembering how often I have not started in the past. I'm defining myself as a person who doesn't start. Needless to say, this does not motivate me to change because I've already decided that I can't start, or at least I'm pretty terrible at starting. I don't want to add another black mark to my eternal personal record of by not starting again. This taint spreads to other parts of my life where I eagerly ferret out examples of myself not doing something I should or need to. By this time, there's no going back from that downward spiral. At this point, it's very hard for me to resist jumping into fix-it mode, for myself and for you. I have a ton of ideas for what might help, what might get things moving and feelings improving. I feel responsible for having the answers and imparting them so I can help people. I want to stick with this, though, and try to get a better picture of what's happening. Maybe this happens to you, too. How do you feel when you failed once again to declutter your bedside table, which really is not rocket science? For some reason, we dwell much more on our failures than our successes. Every day, we do a bunch of things pretty well. But if they're things that anybody could do, we don't value them a lot. We value the hard things, the ones that superior people magically can do. We start painting ourselves into a corner of can't do, and the things we actually can do feel very distant and irrelevant. Although I notice this regularly, I am still always surprised at how black and white my thinking gets. I totally lose sight of the bigger picture. I can only see this awful little corner I'm stuck in, probably forever. I do find it helpful, though, to observe all this. Identifying and expressing how I feel moment by moment somehow allows me a bit of objectivity. Not enough to extricate myself from the corner just yet, but enough to at least entertain the notion that I may, in fact, not feel this way tomorrow. In this moment, I don't believe that's true, but I'm willing to accept that it's possible. A further observation is that even if I feel better tomorrow, more motivated, more positive, more energetic, I will feel crappy again in the future. The feelings I have now, feeling bad about not starting, will go away, but then they'll come back. They'll go away and then come back, and so on and so on. This idea is strangely comforting to me. Maybe a part of me stops resisting the negative feelings so much because it seems like they're a part of me and I can't avoid them forever. I don't have to embrace them or like them. I don't have to get out my gratitude journal or run out and do a good deed for a stranger. I don't have to do anything at all. Like ocean tides, these feelings are just going to come and go. For once, I'm not giving you an action step, except to allow yourself to be aware of what's happening inside when you don't start. Whatever you struggle with, whether it's making art or organizing your life or both, you'll be here again. See if you can allow it without judging it. I want to credit my inspirations for what I presented today. First, a great book called The Creativity Book by Eric Maisel. The author is encouraging and compassionate. Second is the Zen Habits blog written by Leo Babauta. He is great at revealing our human habits and beliefs so that we can change them. Third is a book I've quoted before, which I also love, The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield, about overcoming resistance. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.